Halloween costumes, they can be expensive, but with a little creativity and a needle and thread, you can make your very own, like this one.
And here to show us how is Tess Poe. She's the owner of Beehive Sewing in Northampton. Thanks for letting us wear these adorable costumes.
Of course.
These little ears.
Of course.
So I'm a bear.
You are a bear. Seth is a cat. Happy early Halloween, by the way.
And to you.
Big difference from zombies to cute and cuddly animals.
Exactly. It's a little bit of both. But
Cute
there's
and
so
fuzzy.
much to get to today. Let's talk about, you want to do tail first?
Yeah, let's talk about tails. So the reason that we're doing ears and tails, lots of kids really want to be animals for Halloween. And when you want to make your own costume, very easy to do. There are basically 3 different kinds of ears that are going to work for any animal. So if you can pick the right ear, you can turn any child, young adult, into something very, very cute.
Great.
So what it's all about is going to be shaping. So getting the right shape in place for you to do something that looks a little realistic, like you put in a little bit more effort, and it'll come out really sweet. So let's have a look over here at what we've got on display. In addition to what you're wearing, we've got some kitty ears on a headband, and we've got some long ears that are going to be our bunny ears. And then we've got our tail over here.
That's nice.
Is it
You know what?
fluffy?
You can. I would wear this. Well, I shouldn't say that. I wear this at the grocery store in March. Why not?
Well, we're going to talk in a minute about fabrics and fibers, because you can see that this is fake fur. This is some fake fur that was donated to Beehive Sewing, which we appreciate, and it does come in handy this time of year. The black kitty ears and your black hat are also made of fake fur, but we're going to talk about some other fabrics that you can use.
Okay.
So on our tail, let's have a look at our tail pattern.
Here's the pattern right here. Let's show everybody at home.
So
this.
our tail pattern, you'll see, has a little bit of shaping down at the bottom here, because we don't want our tail to just be a great big rectangle. That won't look
It's like a sword.
won't look very realistic.
No.
And what you'll note on the pattern is that we're going to be cutting one piece of this on the fold. This is a common pattern notation, so for anybody who's buying a pattern or making their own pattern, you want to be aware of the instructions. So if we were to cut this on the fold, it's really going to be twice as big. Saves us a little bit of
Right.
sewing.
So you're making like a mirror image almost.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And well, we're cutting one, and it's going to be able to open up. So that means that we're just going to sew around this long edge, which is what we've done here. And then we did turn it inside out. So we sewed it with the fur on the inside first and then flipped it. I will say for folks at home, fake fur is not easy to work with. It can be a little bit of a pain in the neck. So what I have here, if we can get a shot of a couple of tools that might help, are going to be some heavy-duty sewing needles, and if you're working with something that's stretchy, some ballpoint sewing needles. So both of these are, available at your local sewing studio, your local fabric store. Might make life a little bit easier.
Now, how does this attach to you?
This we would attach probably with a safety pin, or we could do the same approach that we did with the ears, which is to attach them to a headband. If you were doing this, you would attach it just to a waistband.
That's a great idea.
Exactly.
Very good. All right,
exactly.
so now the ears, Tess.
Okay, so we've got 3 ear patterns here. I want you to take a look at the shape of them, because they all look a little bit different. And these were just drawn out based on some other patterns, some measurements of existing costumes, etc.
All right, so this is the bunny ear
The
pattern.
long bunny ear, yep. The pointed ear has a little bit of a funky shape, and it has a funky shape because what we do when we sew it together is actually sort of fold it in half to give it that little bit of kind of dimension, make it look a little bit more realistic.
And then here we have a bear ear too.
Same thing for the bear. We've got a little bit of a cutout here so that we can stitch this like this, and then we end up again with something that's really cute. You can go ahead and make these sizes anything that you'd like, as long as you're kind of using something as a guide. Use a plate, use a saucer, etc.
And this is fleece.
Is it?
This is fleece.
Very fuzzy.
It is fuzzy.
So Tess, first we pick out the pattern, then we cut the fabric appropriately.
Yep.
What's after that?
So what we're going to do, we've got our bear ears that are started. I cut these out of the fake fur, just to kind of underscore the point of how challenging fake fur can be. Watch what happens when you start kind of pulling on the edges. All this fur just kind of starts coming off.
frays.
You will be covered in fur.
It's a mess.
One little pro tip, don't cut fake fur with scissors. Take a razor blade, flip it over, cut your fake fur on the back side here, and try not to cut that fur itself, because that's what makes it really tough to work with. So if you just kind of slice through the fabric that's holding that fur together, it'll be a little bit less messy.
Okay.
So we've cut those, we're putting them aside. This pair, I've already gone ahead and I've done the shaping. So it means that I folded the ear in half, again, right sides together. This isn't a fleece, but this is sort of a fuzzy, fleecy kind of wool that looks kind of like bear fur, I guess. So I folded it in half, and then I've just done a real simple straight stitch just right across where we had that little notch cut out, so that when we open it up, we have a little bit of dimension. What Ashley's going to do next is put these 2 ears face together, right sides together, we're gonna just stitch all around the edges.
Okay, I'm gonna try, Tess.
You're
So
gonna
we're gonna be back in just
try.
a bit to
No.
finish this up. All right, let me try. Let's see. Hit the pedal.
We're gonna put this down,
Okay. Don't go anywhere.
and now you can go ahead and hit that
Okay,
pedal.
I'm nervous. You don't want to see this on live TV.
Yes.
I might hurt myself. Oh, okay.
This is great.
good?
You're doing great.
Okay.
So we are sewing around a curve, which again, even for beginners, that can mean you want to take a little bit more time and care to pay attention to what you're sewing.
I'm impressed that we're pulling this off right now.
You just want to keep an active hand and just guide that fabric right along that curve. Once again, Halloween costumes are not necessarily going to be heirloom projects,
Okay.
so this isn't going to be passed down for generations to come.
Right,
No.
right, right.
If it's not perfect, that's okay.
Okay,
Go a
watch
little
your fingers,
further.
guys. Watch your
Unfortunately,
fingers.
we're just about out of time.
So
But we have
let's-
all our tips
That's
online.
how you do it, and then you
then we
attach it
would
to a.
flip this inside out. We've got a beautiful little ear. We're going to attach our little ear
To a headband.
to a headband.
And bam, you got a Halloween
Inexpensive,
costume.
and you look
That's
great.
it.
I love it.
I love-
Tess,
I love it.